check out pentheblogofficial. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. Hello friends. There was an elephant whose sole purpose in life was to cross the desert. He had crossed most of the desert already, but his journey was taking much longer than he expected. To make matters worse, it was summer, and the sun beat down on him relentlessly. Moreover, he was all alone. All the other elephants had refused to come with him, calling him crazy, and insisting that he would die of thirst and starvation if he did turn back. But he was determined to make it to the other side. After many days of walking, the poor elephant began to feel weak. His legs were sore and his stomach rumbled with hunger. He hadn't eaten anything for several days, and his only thought was to find water. One day, just when he felt like giving up, he saw something in the distance. At first he wasn't sure what it was, but as he got closer, he realized it was a lake. Overjoyed, he ran towards it with all his might. When he reached the lake, he drank water to his heart's content and felt refreshed. But his joy knew no bounds when he saw a large herd of elephants on the other side of the lake. They were all looking at him expectantly. The elephant felt a surge of happiness and walked towards them proudly. As the other elephants stared at him in surprise, he noticed that they too were thin and weary, just like him. He had never seen them before, but they must have also been traveling for a long time. He could tell by their tired eyes that they too were as thirsty as he was. The elephant trumpeted loudly, and all the elephants raised their heads in response. He tried to say something, but his throat was hoarse from thirst. He took a deep breath and said, "Friends, let us help each other and go to the other side of this lake." The other elephants nodded their heads in agreement, and without wasting any more time, they all jumped into the lake. They started swimming towards the other side, but soon the elephant noticed that one of them was struggling. He was a young elephant, and although he tried his best, he couldn't keep his head above the water. The elephant swam up to him and asked, "What's wrong?" The young elephant said, "I'm tired and I can't swim anymore. I'll be glad to rest at the bottom of the lake." The elephant understood that the young elephant was about to drown. So without thinking twice, he put his trunk under the young elephant's belly and lifted him out of the water. When the other elephants saw this, they started shouting, "Well done!" Encouraged by their words, the elephant continued to help the young one until they both reached the shore. The other elephants quickly got out of the lake and gathered around them. The elephant was very happy to see that they were all safe. From that day on, the elephant and the young one became the best of friends. They had faced many hardships together and had learned that true friendship means helping each other in difficult times. As they walked towards the forest, the elephant told the young one, "You know, your mother must be very worried about you. Let's go and see her quickly." The young elephant nodded happily. He too wanted to meet his mother as soon as possible. However, after walking for some time, the elephant noticed that the young one had stopped. He turned around and asked, "Why aren't you coming? Don't you want to see your mother?" The young elephant shook his head and said, "No, that's not it. You see, I'm not a young elephant. I'm much older than you, but I've always been alone. I don't have any friends or family. When I saw you struggling in the lake, I thought maybe now someone will pay attention to me. But you didn't even notice that I was there? I'm just an ordinary elephant who wants to have a friend." The elephant was taken aback by these words. He had never thought that the young elephant was so old. He had known many elephants like him who pretended to be young to hide their sadness. The elephant put his trunk on the young elephant's shoulder and said, "You may be alone, but you're not ordinary. You're the strongest and most determined elephant I've ever seen. I may have crossed the desert alone, but it was because of your help that I could do it. You saved my life, and I will never forget that." The young elephant was surprised to hear these words. He had never thought that anyone would appreciate his strength. From that day on, the two elephants became the best of friends. They traveled together and helped each other whenever they could. The elephant learned that sometimes our greatest strength lies in our determination, and helping others is the best way to repay kindness. That's all for today, friends. See you next time.